Well, it's kind of late. Grins home late, having some fun. I've been around the house for a while and running some errands, and so this could potentially be a short stream. Who knows? But we'll see how far. All I know is Cosimo has been quite strange.
I'm not sure what's up with Gossip. He kind of looks like a clown, doesn't he?
He does, but I slipped over and got blood on my hand, so I quickly wiped it off the floor. I think we had him add this to his testimony, and I think I remember saying, I wonder if we'd have to use that note board or notice board because it has the blood-stained hand on the back.
Oh.
Well, who wants blood on his hand, eh? Horrible stuff. And they might have thought I'd done it. Nota. So, you didn't think that would be a problem? Does it really matter if I left a few grubby handprints on the floor? They got cleaned up in the end, won't they? Don't make such a fuss, that's the message from all of us. Something wrong, Counsel? No, my lord. I didn't remember anything in the report about a bloody handprint on the floor, that's all. Don't come at me with all that, you can't intimidate me. You know what I did? I wiped it off on the floor, the blood. I wonder, could that be what happened? Mr. Navarro, I don't have all the answers yet, but I think we may have just uncovered a vital clue. Yeah, that's it.
Objection!
So you wiped off the blood from your hand on the floor of the room. Are you quite sure about that? Well, what else do you expect me to have done, eh? Does it really matter? The police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigations. What exactly is the defense? If you listen, you'll find out, Prosecutor Asogi. What exactly is the defense? Certainly, there was no bloody handprint found on the floor. What are you trying to say? There was a handprint in blood left very clearly at the scene. Hey, stop! Stop, kitty. Don't make me come over there. There was a handprint in blood very clearly at the scene. On the back of this notice board. No, kitty. She's chewing on one of the wires.
She's one of our naughty girls.
Yeah. Naughty is an understatement. She's quite evil sometimes.
Sergeant Pepper is a naughty girl.
Okay. On the back of this notice board. Yes, indeed. Indisputably a handprint in the distinctive color of blood. You're dead right. That's my right hand. I'd know it anywhere. Oh, okay, he's admitting to it. That's interesting.
Objection!
The witness very definitely testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. Any handprints at the back of the board are irrelevant.
It looks like a floorboard on the back.
Not if the board itself had fallen over onto the floor. That case is quite possible for the witness's handprint to have ended up there. Just look at the floor plan of the room. The notice board was in the opposite corner of the room to the victim and in an upright position. Even if it had somehow been toppled and was lying on the floor at the time, it would have been a considerable distance from the body. I fell over when I came across the body, so I was basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room. In other words, the defense's assertion is contradictory. Yes, it is. There's a very definite contradiction here for which there must be a reason. I take it that you formulated a proper hypothesis, Counsel, regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witness's account and the handprint found at the scene? I have, my lord. I have? This discrepancy between the witness's account and the location of the handprint explained by...
I don't know if it's false testimony or the board moving.
Or another handprint? I mean...
I kind of fell asleep yesterday towards the end, so I can't remember what we were talking about. But
well, so far, I mean, basically, Von Zieks found the body, or Von Zieks heard a gunshot, and then he heard a scream. He looked over, there were the witnesses. Gossip saying he fell over close to the body and then ran out. So...
But he was already in there?
Well, they came up to see what happened.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not getting any he's hiding something vibes, because he even said that was his handprint, but I'm not sure he knows. I don't know if he's giving false testimony. So either it moved or there's another hand, but he says it's his handprint. Let's see. The notice board was in the opposite corner of the room to the victim and in an upright position. Even if it had somehow been toppled and was lying on the floor at the time, it would have been a considerable distance from the body. I fell over when I came across the body. I was basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room. I
think it's board moving, huh?
But didn't we just establish that if the board moved, there's... You think it's board moving? Why? I mean, I'm not saying I'm 100% with anything. But maybe if we can logically reason it out, then we can pick it confidently.
Where it's positioned now, how could you have been behind it for it to fall over and touch it? Because the door is in front of it and the windows are in front of it. So even if they came into the window, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I mean, I just think it's another handprint because I don't think it's giving false testimony.
Okay.
And the board moving seemed like it was ruled out, although I don't know how another handprint would. Let's try it. If Mr. Gossip ended up with blood on his hand and wiped it off on the floor, as he says, he must have left behind a mark somewhere. Just as a mark had been left behind on the back of the notice board. The prosecution has already established that the handprint on the board is irrelevant. Exactly, which means there must be another handprint somewhere. No, the police report made no mention of a handprint anywhere on the floor. Oh yeah, and I understand that you've examined the scene in person too. If you come across something the police had missed, how do you explain the cold sweats? Okay, that's what they meant by another handprint. That's what was just from the warm-up. What? There should be a bloody handprint on the floor, so where did it go? I'm ready to give the proper explanation to the court now, my lord. Take it you formulated the hypothesis. Well, let's try the board moving. Since that's the one you said. The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As the court can see, it's upside down. Good gracious, so it is. The witness had put his hand against the board, the finger should have been pointing upwards. Well, what does that tell us?
The board was down.
It tells us one simple fact. When the handprint was made, the board must have been lying on the floor as I previously suggested. Which means that after the incident, it must have been moved. What? Yeah, I thought they were ruling it out when they said, oh, if it moved and toppled over, but... Nah, you're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting. Then tell the court who. I don't know that yet, but the point is, when you consider all the testimony we've heard so far, we can now be very clear on one point, and that would be the position of the notice board at the time of the incident, my lord. So, counsel, I must ask you to clarify your assertion for the court. At the time of the incident, where do you maintain the notice board was situated? Oh dear.
He said he had to climb over the body, because that's how he got blood on him. And then he wiped his hand on the floor, so would it be right in front of...
I mean, that's what I would think. It would be right in front of the dead body, right? Like somewhere here.
Take that!
This is the only possible location. Immediately adjacent to the doorway. If the court would think back to the testimony given by the defendant earlier, he said that when he entered the room it was dark and he couldn't see the body. Bayek! If the notice board had been here, the body would have been completely hidden from view, and the light from the candles would have been blocked, making the room appear darker. But the accused also claims that the victim's body simply appeared before him.
He knocked over the door or something?
That's true, or in his precise words, just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. I don't know about calling it a scream, but he was talking about me and no mistake. Because it was me that kicked the door open. If you look again at the floor plan, consider what would happen if the door to the room was thrown open with force. That can't. The door struck the notice board, knocking it over and making the victim's body visible. Good gracious. My client has told nothing but the truth. He has simply described what he saw. Order, order. Counsel, how has this not come to light before now? After the incident, someone must have righted the board and moved it into the position where the police, myself, and my colleagues saw it when investigating the room. Witness, what have you to say for yourself? What? Me, my lord? You and your fellows were there at the scene before anybody else. It goes without saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board. The witness on the stand will testify again. You will each explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime. Stop looking over your glasses at me. I get the message.
Can't get over his lip.
I don't know. Wow, we're already at the Allegro? Well, that makes sense. This is the third one. I don't know anything about that there notice board. I just wiped my hand on it, that's all. Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time. Did she just light that on her clothes?
She's been lighting on her butt every time.
Wow. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just a sign at the crossroads of life. It was that Reaper, I bet. He's got a face that screams bored. What? I can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot. So none of you can elaborate further. Shaken by the crime they witnessed, and with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp by which to see, we can't expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened. That's right, yeah. It don't pay to expect too much. It's man's endless quest for knowledge that's destroying the world. That's what I think. Do you? Really? In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could possibly have committed the crime is Baruch von Zieks. None of this wrangling over the board changes that simple fact. Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witnesses despite the circumstances? Most certainly, my lord. Very well, then you may proceed, counsel. Alright, the mother knows. I just wipe my hand on it, that's all. So you admit that it was the board you wiped your bloody hand on. Admitted? What's to admit? It was there plain as day for all to see, a smashing print in my right hand. Perhaps you wanted to hide that handprint? So you righted the notice board and pushed it into the corner, did you? No, imagine the weight of the great lump. Do I look like a powerful and well-nurtured man? Well, did you see anybody else moving the board? I've got nerves of steel, I can tell you, but even I have my limits. There was a body on the floor in front of me and the Grim Reaper himself standing over it, and there was precious little light inside either. My bottom lip was all a quiver. In other words, this witness is unable to give definite testimony on that point. Yes, so it would seem. Well, don't look at me, I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years. What does that mean? When you say you were doing business with them, you mean you were selling them fireworks? Yeah, what else? There's the Priory School just around the corner, see? Those cheeky little so-and-sos have got a plan to blow their school to Kingdom Come. Ha. So I've been telling on them, letting their teachers know what they're up to. Oh, you have? Yeah, who wouldn't want to get hurt? Wouldn't want anyone to get hurt, so I let the school know the kids are playing with dodgy toys. Then praise the Lord the teacher takes all the fireworks off him. And then, praise the Lord again, the kids all come back to me to buy more. Everyone's happy, see? What a racket. Of course. And sometimes the teachers give me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. It's a busy old life selling explosives. Venus is a guileful goddess indeed. Well, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing, really. I'm ever so good at it. Scary. The important point is you didn't go inside the room where the inspector was killed, isn't that right? Definitely not. Wouldn't have dreamed of it, would I? But you did go to see what had happened in the room, didn't you? Fresno Street is my whole world. It's all I know, and I know all of it. I have to make it my business to know if I want to hold up my sign up high. So you did go to see what had happened. It's not the destination that's important, it's how you get there, isn't it? Did you notice the notice board in the room? If you think about it, we're both the same species, aren't we? Both different members of the sign family. So if I'd spotted it, I might have tried to trip it out of a sense of rivalry, I admit. Someone really needs to tell you that you're Homo sapiens, not Homo sinians. Does that mean that you didn't notice the board? I can only repeat what I said before. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me, just a sign at the crossroads of life. In which case, just who was responsible for moving the notice board? It was the Reaper. I bet he's got a face that screams board. What exactly do you mean by that? Oh, come on now. Don't tell us you've not noticed. He looks like he hates everything in the world, that fella. But not notice boards. They're the one thing he likes. You can see it in his eyes. I never noticed. I'll tell you one thing for free, though. I never took my eyes off that man on the floor, or off the Reaper, not for a second. Sorry? Well, I was that scared I couldn't. You never know what a fiend like that might do if you look away, do you? If you didn't take your eyes off the defendant, you should be able to confirm categorically whether or not he was the one who moved the notice board. Aye, that I can. The Reaper did nothing of the sort. I can swear to that. I couldn't have missed it if he'd heaved the thing upright again and dragged it into the corner. Right, glad we've cleared that up. What happened to the face that screams bored? I feel your pain, Kazuma. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon that you all heard the loud bang, wasn't it? Maybe the notice board fell over, maybe it didn't. Maybe I fell over, maybe I didn't. But the Reaper's fate is sealed either way because of that gunshot we all heard. So your fate's sealed too. My fate? That's right, the defense is fated to lose, and the prosecution to win. In other words, it all hinges on that single gunshot. So if I could just find some problem with that part of their story, it may be possible to change all our fates. Of course, none of that changed the fact that I heard what I heard, does it? Not much to go on. As you pointed out, Mr. Naruhodo, there's no question that the notice board was moved, so somebody must have done it. But it did happen after the event, so maybe Kazuma is right and it's not relevant to the case. But it seems to have been deliberately positioned so as to hide the body from view. So I feel sure that there's some deeper significance to all of this. Yes, I know what you mean. I've no doubt there are more clues to be uncovered. You're on the right track, I can feel it. So follow your instincts. Alright then. So... maybe we can try to prove that it might not have been a gunshot?
Right, so can you go look at the gun in the property thing? It's a revolver. Can you open the cylinder?
This type of revolver, the standard issue. And when I asked about records are kept, I was told for the past 5 years they've been engraved with a unique serial number. Oh, but as far as I can tell, there's nothing like that on this gun, which tells us that it must have been issued longer ago than that. Interesting. We cannot look at the cylinder.
That's how you could look to see if there's number one fired.
Look, I think maybe the fireworks, like, we can show, like, it could have been this noise they heard, and so that means he could have been shot already?
Yeah. Objection!
Certainly not what, I think you'll find a number of ways, you say. That's right, my lord, in a number of ways. Perhaps it would serve you well to concentrate your efforts on one contradiction at a time, Counsel. Let's see. This was Miko Toba doing the letter of introduction. Wonderful handwriting. This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. Is it just me, or does that make me sound extremely untrustworthy? I do wish he'd at least have called you a nice young man. I'm really not sure that would help. Oh, some sort of steamship ticket. The SS Grouse, first class cabin 001. Yokohama departure September 11th, London arrival November 1st. That's the boat that Professor Miko Toba and Judge Jigoku came on from Japan, isn't it? Yes, I think it called at Dunkirk on the north coast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover. I think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Buria. Seems a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think? Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary. And I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh, well, how strange. Where could it have gone? Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruhodo? Did I imagine it, or was that comment accompanied by a slight sigh? I don't think this is what we need, but good thing we looked at that. Poor Gregson.
Yeah. Poor Gregson. I wonder if the gun on the floor is actually his.
That's the thing, we don't really know.
He's been in the yard for so long, he'd have one issued without a serial number, right?
Yeah.
What did they want you to prevent?
Well, I'm not sure. Hold on a sec. Ah, there are some black marks here, look. Yes, they look like some sort of scorch marks. So perhaps the bullet struck the candle here, do you think? It's only this one candle that's been cracked in half, it seems. Yes, I think you might be right. Firearms are rarely used by criminals in Japan, so I'm afraid I'm not particularly knowledgeable about them. It does seem strange, although I don't think this is, I don't think this is the evidence we would use, but it does seem strange that he was apparently shot in the back, and yet his back is very close to the wall. Like, you would think he should be facing, like, with his head toward that candlestick, and his legs closer to the door. But I don't think that's the evidence that would contradict that, because this seems to be the statement. Loud bang, muted nose board, maybe I didn't, but the Reaper's fate is sealed. Your fate's sealed. Cosmos like I'm gonna win. In other words, it all hinges on that single gunshot, so if I could just find some problem with that part of this story, it may be possible to change all our fates. Exited the body from behind.
He could have been shot through the window, through all those cracky holes.
He could
While
have.
he's looking at the board.
That makes sense.
Can you present the picture of him, like, laying like that? That doesn't really show the window.
Yeah. Let's see.
Is there a bullet hole in the window? Can you look at the, the board up close? Because the bullet went through his back.
Yeah, like that's what I was looking for here.
And did she put in the autopsy report how he was shot?
Yeah. Scorch marks at point of entry. The bullet exited the body from behind. Oh, the bullet was shot in the chest at close range from the front.
Okay.
Okay, Marco was not on a path that he thought he was.
Okay, well, the candle arbor has a candle that has it in it, right?
Yeah, and that's what it went through him, it exited the body, and then hit the candle.
Yeah, my window theory doesn't work.
Yeah, but don't be hard on yourself. I'm basically why you went on that path by saying you was shot from behind. Key there.
So they want us to present to...
Ja.
I'll do that. What? I can't see how this changes anything. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot. Can you present the firecrackers?
I already did.
Oh. I'm falling asleep up here, that's why.
Okay, maybe don't do that.
Well, I'm working on it.
Yes, work hard.
Objection!
I don't know what I was thinking.
How'd you bring in?
The picture you were just looking at?
The gun?
I mean, that's the thing. I've been tempted, but I'm like, it could be. I don't.
We're supposed to avoid handling it, but we don't know what's in the chamber.
Yeah, we don't, and we can't find out. Well, that wasn't it.
We tried everything.
No, I haven't tried everything. Hmm. Nose board. I hate doing this.
I do too, but sometimes it's so obvious it's dumb. If that makes sense.
Well,
Or you have to do it in a certain order, but you're on the right track.
Yeah. That gets me the crime floor plan? Nope. I'm sorry, Counsel, I failed to see why. Well, you know, I was just playing devil's advocate. That's cute. The autopsy? I feel like we've tried everything on this side. Unless we're just doing the wrong thing, but it seems very clearly that we're supposed to be contradicting something here. Yeah.
Objection!
I did the firecracker. Yeah.
I was doing things to the wrong person at the wrong time.
Objection!
Nope. My logic there was that maybe he set off the firecracker.
What did the girl say? Well, don't look at me. I ain't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second grade years at the time. Wouldn't there be more witnesses? There'd be kids there buying crackers. Firecrackers.
Yeah, but they didn't run up there. Probably near to the she, though, so I'm confused what she's doing up there. We did investigate everything about this, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like we missed anything.
No. But I think we did it in the wrong order.
What do you mean the wrong order?
Like, we're presenting it on the wrong person, not in the correct order that they want it.
But doesn't it seem like this specific
Yeah, it
statement...
seems like it wants something here. And you haven't had one to be like, excuse me.
Nope. Have not.
Objection! Objection!
No.
Hold it!
It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Maybe the Noseport fell over, maybe it didn't. Reaper's fate is sealed. So your fate's sealed too. My fate. Let me look at some of this again just to make sure that I didn't skip a reaction. Selling them fireworks. Cheeky little so-and-sos. Telling on them. Yeah, they got some dodgy toys. And the kids come back to buy more. Whoa!
What?
I did miss something. How did I miss this?
Excuse me!
We had to go back and do it the second time.
Something wrong? Maybe. If I said it was, could we just leave it at that? Would that be the end of it? No. Did Miss Venus' statement just now bring something to mind, perhaps? I think it's the sound of the fireworks. Deep philosophical thoughts, Let's just say there was a great liar, and that great liar said without batting an eye, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing, I'm ever so good at it. Would those words of hers be a lie too, or the truth? In which case, she's not a liar. Oh, it's a hellish paradox, that one, don't you think? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But it seems to me you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying, are you? What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you? Keep on like that, and I'll wrap your whole body in firecrackers and set 'em off. That'll give you something to tremble about. You have a startlingly disturbing mind behind that sweet and innocent face, young lady. So Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich? Well, if it means I'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Can you elaborate, please, sir? Old Blabbermouth here headed for the room where the gunshot seemed to come from, but there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind him, too. That's right, that rotten liar over there. Heh. Do you mean to say that you did in fact betake yourself to the scene of the crime after all? What did I tell you? I said I was good telling barefaced lies, didn't I? Yes, you mentioned it. Well, that revelation rocked the whole courtroom, didn't it? Who knew firecrackers packed such a punch? So you did indeed visit the scene of the crime, did you, young lady? Good grief. Well, now you come to mention it, I suppose, perhaps. I do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room, yeah. Either you clearly remember it or you don't. Well, I shall consider a fitting punishment for this perjurious act later. For the time being, you will immediately amend your testimony to reflect the truth. Oh yes, my lord, of course. Maybe I did sneak behind gossip and have a little peek into the room where it all happened. You make a habit of lying, do you, Miss Venus? Well, I suppose so. I don't really know, to be fair. If you want my advice, though, I take everything I say with a pinch of salt. Alright, but you did in fact go to the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you? Oh, please, as if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying. The truth, please. Well, alright, just a bit then. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know. Did you touch anything at the scene? Oh, please, as if I would. I mean, there was a dead body on the floor. The truth, please. Well, alright, just a bit then. I had a look to see if there was anything I could sell. So I did give the place a once-over, but it was nothing to write home about. Right. Now, I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you? Oh, please, as if I would touch anything like that. Just a few bits of loose change is all I had. The truth, please. Well, alright then. I thought there might be something worth having underneath it. So I blasted the flippin' thing. Sorry, flipped the blasted thing. You're telling us that you did move that board. I think that did slip out, didn't it? What? You daft barn pot. I don't believe it. The girl doesn't think. So, did you find anything then? Something that you might have taken, perhaps, to sell? Oh, please. I should be so lucky. The truth now! I might have found this old pocket watch under the notice board, I suppose. But a bit of junk like this can't be... So it was you, was it? You're the one what took it. Gina? Young lady, may I remind you where you are? That watch there, that was a present to Inspector Gregson from the yard for a big case he solved 10 years ago. The professor case, no doubt. The boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub. I see. I swiped it off him once and blimey was he upset. He gave me a right earful Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years polishing it and winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did. Possibly not the best thing to go diving for, then. It's not all that, though. I took it to Jabez's that night to ask how much it was worth, but the old deardler wouldn't touch it, wouldn't give me a penny for it, said it wasn't working. Knocked about and worthless, he called it. Ah, I knew I should have lifted it. That watch must be submitted as evidence at once. Oh, please, just as long as you promise to give it back when you're done. Not a chance. I'll swipe it from you if you try to get your grubby mitts on it again. That's enough. Hand the watch to the bailiff forthwith. Now, children, watch your manners. Good Lord. The glass appears to be broken. More than likely it shattered when the inspector was shot. It doesn't tick anymore either. Which is why Jabez didn't want it. What a waste, eh? Yes, indeed. It appears to have stopped at the hour of 5. Exactly when the gunshot was heard then. Which supports the prosecution's claim, of course. Well, it would appear that the mystery of the moving notice board has been solved at last. And as predicted, it had very little bearing on the case. Ugh. Now then, continue with your cross-examination, please, counsel. The glass over the face really is badly cracked. Look! What a shame when the inspector clearly looked after it so carefully. I imagine Mr. Sholmes could repair it, don't you? Yes, I should think so. He's very adept at things like that, a useful man to have around, in fact. But kindly remember that he's a great detective, Mr. Naruhodo, not an odd job man. Ah, there's a little tiny keyhole here, can you see? Oh yes, that's probably for the winder used to wind up the mechanism. It looks a little unusual, don't you think? Yes, you'd need just the right key to wind it, I imagine. Oh yes. Why do I feel as though I've seen something? Something a bit like a key that's about the right size to fit in this hole. It would be wonderful if we had the key. Let's check carefully over everything we've already found. The helmet of the shrine policeman appears to be a little worse for wear. Gonna give it a turn. Ah, what's that? It appears to be some sort of key. But it's tiny, though. It couldn't be a key for a door not at that size. So what is it for, I wonder? Miss Susato, do you think perhaps this key could be the key for Inspector Gregson's watch? Oh yes, it could be. Let's try it at once. There's not a moment to lose. I knew it. A perfect fit. And look, the inspector's watch has started going again. So it has obviously just been wound up, that's all. What is it, Mr. Sato? Well, if the watch isn't actually broken after all, I have a feeling it could have profound implications. She's deep in thought now. Perhaps I better start thinking deeply, too. Does that mean... There's a little porky. With not so little implications. Did you know? Everything in the world apart from the truth is a big fat lie. If you believe that, of course. I'm lost. As am I. This desecration of the truth is really rather disturbing. I think perhaps we should move on to the next witness. 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Your fate's sealed. bit on the tired side, but maybe if I rest up, we'll be able to figure this out tomorrow. Fortunately, didn't get as far as I wanted to, but I figured this might be shorter than I thought. Alright. Sorry to cut it short,